Winning the Triple Crown is one of the greatest accomplishments one can achieve in horse racing. While several countries have their own, Japan has quite a few sets of Triple Crown races, which include the Classic Triple Crown, Triple Tiara, otherwise known as the Filly Triple Crown, Dirt Triple Crown, Spring Triple Crown, Autumn Triple Crown. There's a lot of headwear over in Japan. But I want to focus on the main two as they're the most prestigious, the Classic Triple Crown and the Triple Tiara. There are quite a few umamusume characters whose counterparts have won the Triple Crown and Triple Tiara, but I want to take a look at some instances of characters winning only 2 of the 3 races for the Triple Crown and Tiara and see what went wrong or what prevented them from winning at all. Let's start with the Classic set first. There's a famous saying that goes along with the races involved for the Classic Triple Crown. The Satsuki Show is won by the fastest horse, the Tokyo Yushun or Japan Derby by the luckiest, and the Kikuka Show by the strongest. Although, as we've seen, there are many variants of the Triple Crown, when people reference a Triple Crown horse, they usually mean they won this set of races. To compete in these races, not only do you have to participate in qualifying races and pay a series of registration fees, but it's only open to 3-year-old racers, so there are no second chances. In other words, you have to be really good to even get a chance at the Triple Crown, and winning it is another story. The first umamusume example that may come to mind is the main plot of Season 2, with Tokai Teo trying to become a Triple Crown racer like her idol Simbali Rudolph. In 1991, Tokai Teo would win 2 of the 3 classic races in the Satsuki Show and Japan Derby comfortably and was well on the way of becoming an undefeated Triple Crown champion, but Teo had an abnormal stride upon returning to the stable after the Japan Derby's awards ceremony, and x-rays revealed that he had a left hind leg fracture. The recovery time was 6 months, which ruled Teo out for the Kikuka Show 5 months later, which was won by Leo Durbin, the horse that placed second behind Teo in the Derby. Teo wouldn't end up racing until almost a year after the injury, returning with a new jockey and winning 2 of 5 races in 1992. Keeping it with Season 2, the year after Teo's run 1992 saw Mihono Bourbon similarly win the Satsuki Show and Japan Derby. Bourbon was the heavy favorite to win the Kikuka Show and unlike Teo was healthy and participating in the race. However, in both the previous classic races, looming in the background was Rice Shower, who took second place in both races. Rice was far below odds in the Satsuki Show, but the second favorite to win in both the Japan Derby and the Kikuka Show, and ended up taking the win in the final classic race, preventing Bourbon from becoming a Triple Crown after being chased around by a horse on a scooter. Although Bourbon was healthy going into the race, it turned out the Kikuka Show would be his final race due to a lame hind leg, and all hope of a return was dashed when the following year he developed several injuries on the same leg. In 1998, we almost had a Triple Crown winner, but we didn't really get a chance to pin our hopes on it. Saiyan Sky won the Satsuki Show and Kikuka Show, but lost the middle classic race in the Derby to Roving Legends Special Week. Sky was the third favorite to win, but ended up coming in 4th place in the Derby after an unenthusiastic push. Sound more accurate? Because he lost the middle race, there were no real thoughts about Saiyan Sky potentially becoming a Triple Crown horse going into the summer, but interestingly, Sky's record-setting victory at the Kikuka Show would be the only time he would defeat Special Week in his career. Similarly, in 2000, Air Shocker took victories in both the Satsuki Show and Kikuka Show, but also lost in the Japan Derby to Agnes Flight by only 7 centimeters despite being the favorite. Because of this, Shocker is sometimes referred to as the quasi-Triple Crown horse because that's such a shame. Unfortunately, after this, Air Shocker would never place first in a race again following his win in the Kikuka Show, placing as high as second 3 times in 10 of his subsequent races. A few years later, in 2003, Neo Universe entered and won the Satsuki Show and Japan Derby. Universe entered the final race, the Kikuka Show, as the favorite with fellow racehorses Zeno Robroy and Sakura President behind him. It would be the 5th favorite, however, That's the Plenty, who took the lead after the 3rd corner of the 2nd lap and never gave it back, with Universe ending up in 3rd place. This would end Universe's hot streak of 6 wins out of 9 races, and he would end up retiring the following year due to developing tendonitis and a fracture in his right front leg after racing in the Spring Tenno Show. It wouldn't be for almost another decade when Japan would pin their hopes on another famous horse who always comes through when they do so, Goldship. Oh no. Goldship won the Satsuki Show by taking the far outside route and winning by 2.5 lengths, but would lose the Japan Derby, starting his run from 8th but only ending up in 5th behind Deep Brillante, who placed 1st. Goldship would then commandingly win in the Kikuka Show. As per usual, the most Goldship thing to possibly happen. Unlike most others on this list, this didn't stop Goldship at all, as he went on to race for 3 more years, which included back-to-back wins than Takarazuka Keenan, retiring at 6 years old following the 2015 Arima Keenan, in which he received the most fan votes for entry. Our final double crown comes from 2015, when Duramente won both the Satsuki Show and Japan Derby, the latter of which in record time. Duramente had sights on either the Triple Crown or the Prix de l'Arc de Triomphe, but unfortunately, as he was grazing, it was found that he also had leg fractures and needed to have surgery, which would take him out of action for 6 months, ruling Duramente out for both races. That year's Kikuka Show would be won by the horse who would begin a new legend over the following 2 years, Kitasan Black. Injury woes wouldn't stop for Duramente, as following 1 first place and 2 second place finishes, Duramente would also have to retire early due to unrecoverable tendon damage. That's all in terms of umamusume almost Triple Crown winners, but let's talk about the Filly Triple Crown or the Triple Tiara. The Triple Tiara is another variant of the Triple Crown, which necessitates wins in the Okusho, Yusha and Himba, or Japanese Oaks as it's also known, and the Shukasho. It used to include the Queen Elizabeth II Cup until 1996 when the Shukasho came around, which is how Mejiro Ramono got on this list. The main difference here is that these races can only be entered by 3-year-old fillies or female horses. Back in 1997, Mejiro Dober never had any chance of winning the Triple Tiara since she lost the first race, the Okusho, but did win the Japanese Oaks and Shukasho. Dober did have eyes on the Triple Tiara, but unfortunately in the Okusho she didn't react well to the slow pace and ended up coming in second place to Kyoei March. It didn't end all that bad for Dober, who went on to win the awards for Best Mare 4 years in a row, which is a record-tying amount of times. 9 years later, in 2006, Kawakami Princess won both the Japanese Oaks and Shukasho, much like Mejiro Dober. However, unlike Mejiro Dober, she didn't participate in the Okusho, which was won by Kiss to Heaven. Kawakami Princess had entered the Shukasho, but was excluded because she didn't win enough prize money. So it wasn't for lack of talent, but rather a lack of stacks, a terrible and relatable issue to have. Though she had no terrible injury to speak of, Kawakami Princess went on to lose 12 straight races after winning her first 5 and winning the Best Mare and Best Domestic Horse awards in her double tiara year. In 2007, Daiwa Scarlet would win the Okusho, defeating rival Vodka by 1.5 lengths, but wouldn't participate in the Japanese Oaks. You'll never guess the reason this time. No, it wasn't an injury. She took a sick day that day. Vodka was also supposed to take part in that race, but instead took part in and won the Japan Derby, a race predominantly for colts. While Robe Decollette won the Oaks, Daiwa Scarlet would spend the remainder of her summer growing in confidence at her farm and would come back to win the Shukasho over Rain Dance and Vodka. Scarlet would continue her career with an incredibly dramatic photo finish loss to Vodka in the following year's Autumn Tanosho and becoming the first filly to win the Arima Keenan since Tomei won it in 1971. Though there were eyes on World Conquest, Daiwa Scarlet had to retire the following year due to developing tendinitis. Our final look at the Triple Tiara is from 2009. Buena Vista was reportedly the angriest horse to show up for the Okusho for some reason, but won it despite second favorite Red Desire trying to overtake, and would later win the Japanese Oaks, overtaking Red Desire in a photo finish. Buena Vista was going to attempt to challenge for the Prix de l'Arc de Triomphe, but decided against it after placing second in the Sapporo Keenan and would instead go for the Shukasho. Unfortunately, this is where Red Desire would finally get her revenge, preventing Buena Vista from winning the Triple Tiara. It didn't end all that bad for Vista either, who went on to win 7 G1 races and the awards for Best Mare 4 years in a row, which is giving me deja vu. And that's all for our Double Crown and Double Tiara winners. Even without winning their third race, be it due to injury or a loss otherwise, being able to win 2 of the 3 races involved is no joke and still a serious testament to skill. No graded race is easy to win after all. Now if you'll excuse me, I'm gonna go enter a marathon. How hard could it be? It's just running.